Welcome to Speed Scene Live TV, the only show dedicated to the sportsman racer. Brought to you by Curry Rear Ends, Hedman Hustler Headers, M&H Tires, Aeromotive Fuel Systems, and TheFote.com. With your hosts, Diana Might, Bruce Barker, Scott Lucky Hudson, Alex Rogio, Bob Beck, Bryant Layton, with Donnie Couch and Dar Hawthorne.
And here we go. Welcome to Speed Scene Live. I had this sudden flash, Bob and Alex, and I'll do the proper introductions in just a bit. There was this old show on television like 20 years ago. It was on PBS. It was this guy who viewed the stars. He was an astronomer or something or other, and the guy would always go, "Greetings, fellow stargazers," and that was the opening to the show. That's not this show. I'm Bruce Barker. There's Alex, the car girl, Rogio.
Hey, good to be back.
Good to see you back, and Hot Rod Bob Beck. Man, this is one of those episodes where we're just packed with stuff. We'll have to jump into it, and that includes this scene right here. That includes some serious smoke.
Oh yeah.
And tell us about it, Alex.
Well, I had to get I chose to get a new set of Mickey Thompson ET slicks, and this is me breaking them in a bit, and you'll see this launch doesn't really have much traction.
There we go.
They were a bit hot. I mean,
the sticky Mickeys didn't get that sticky.
well, they were a little too sticky.
No, there we go.
And then I just decided,
It's your best
I'm not going to get traction. I might as well give up.
your best imitation of John Force.
Exactly. Why not, right?
Yeah.
It was so much fun, though.
Yeah.
Now, what track was that at?
That was Fontana. The recently reopened. I'm so happy it's back. I go there and I feel like I'm living a dream every time because I never imagined that, we would have a chance to race there again, and I'm so thrilled. Thank you to everybody that participated in the resurrection of Fontana. Whoa, as I knock over the lights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Participating in the resurrection of the lights?
What event was this that you were racing at?
This was the Pacific Streetcar Association's, I think it was the Magna Fuel. No, it was the Calvert Racing, I can't remember. It was Calvert Racing's race a couple weeks ago. And as of that race, I am in first place in the street muscle class.
Cool.
And in second place in bracket 1.
There you
Second
go.
to the Dick Krieger, who is allowing me to race his awesome Super Comp altered car, which we'll get to a little bit later.
Oh,
but
good. I was going to say, something tells me, Bob, we're going to hear about that tonight.
Yeah, that's going to be cool.
He'll hear about it a little bit later.
And, of course, Hot Rod Bob, I know you've got a great American auto scene coming up.
Oh, yeah. We're going to get back into the history of some of the drag racing legends of the 60s. A specific legend, though, where bigger was always better.
Isn't it still?
What?
Well, he took it to an extreme.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll go over some of that and see some of the great cars that he built and developed, and what was probably one of the pioneers of the flopper body funny car.
Wow.
Good thing he thought of that, huh?
Yeah,
It's what we still use today.
that's right.
There you have it. And here I thought, I went to see Godzilla the other day. I thought that was, bigger is better. I thought that's as big as it got. But
Until you see Mrs. Godzilla, you're not going to know.
Mrs. Godzilla. Herbert, where have you been?
Yeah,
Herbert. That's his name.
it's Herbert. Yeah.
Yeah, so, hey, welcome to Speed Scene Live. Let's see, Lucky Hudson out on the road. We know the Speed Scene Live national circle around here. Every weekend, Lucky's at a track for the last few weeks, including this weekend. Diana Might's out on assignment. I know Dar and Donnie are going to be gathering more video for another show coming up soon.
Yep.
So, there you go. That's the crew update for those crew that ain't in the house.
Yeah.
And that leaves us to, I'd say, one of those cat is away, mice will play things, but it doesn't apply here.
No, not at all.
Because even when the cats are here, the mice are playing.
That's right. It's more fun with more.
That's right. Hey, so I've got a video here, Alex, that's got something to do with exotics. That word appears in it. What are we talking about?
Well, 2 months ago, I believe, I and my crew chief, Richard, were invited to drive Exotics racing course. And they have 2 locations in Las Vegas and Fontana. And for just, a couple $100, you can race an exotic car on a controlled racetrack. It's literally the most it feels like you're, in a dream the whole time. It's such an amazing course. And what's really cool is before you even get to drive on the track, there's, of course, some good instruction. And here's us, in the, it looks like we're at a comedy show because the instructor was really funny. But, they give you a little bit of introduction of how the course is going to look and what it's going to be like driving the car. And, of course, you can't imagine until you do it. But, and then they take you for a lap around in a car just to let you get the feel of the track before you actually are in the driver's seat. Now, this is us getting fitted for our helmets. And as you can see,
it's a little big.
Look kind of like lunch ladies with our little caps on. Richard had a little bit of trouble.
Is that a bicycle helmet he's wearing? What is this?
I
don't know. It looks like they're going to seat him on a chopper. He's ready to go, man.
He looks like he's ready to serve fries with that cap.
So they do that, I guess, the whole insurance hair
That's right.
something.
Yeah.
And here's my extreme concern for his safety in this photo. I mean,
you've got the all-encompassing helmet, and he's got this little thing on top of his head.
He's got a little cap. But you know what? That's okay.
Okay, so when you
Everything
say
worked out.
exotics, we're starting to get an idea of what you mean by that.
Richard got to drive a Ferrari Scuderia, I believe it. Yes. I mean, you'll get his input and reaction a little bit later in the video, but he got to drive first, and we had a little contest for this. Basically, whoever had the fastest lap time won the contest, and I'll tell you what the prize was, a little bit later. But Richard went first, and of course, he had his game face on from, the second he stepped in the car. It was not only cool to drive, but cool to watch. And that they have, we took our own outside video, but they give you an in-car video. You can see where you are on the track. You can see the driver. You can see what the driver's looking at, and then the speed is in the bottom right corner.
It's like Top Gear.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, except for it's real.
But
huh?
real. And you get to actually drive, not only are these cars fast, like the car I drove had, I think, 570 horsepower. It's all-wheel drive, and they weigh, next to nothing. So the power-to-weight ratio is, you'll never get that in a regular street car that,
Hey, this is kind of cool, too. You can hear the radio traffic back and forth, right?
Yeah.
Take a listen to this.
Expletive deleted. Yeah.
This is there's an instructor sitting next to you in the car, and they're giving you, which side of the track you should be on, when you should be on the throttle, brakes. It just gives you a really authentic racing experience.
Wow.
You get to feel what it's like going through the corners at speed, and they don't just, let you putt around. You gotta give it some throttle here.
I'm looking at where this is. This looks like it's Vegas.
It is, yeah.
Oh, all right.
This is the Vegas location. They have a really nice outdoor road course there.
Man, you really kicked this thing up. Look at that. It says 110.
He's at about 115 there, he pegged at. I mean, and anybody could do this. You don't need to be,
I gotta do that. I gotta go to Vegas and do this. This is amazing.
It's so much fun. I can't describe to you how much fun it is until you do it. I mean,
I haven't driven a sport type car at competition in over 20 years. This is a kick. I mean, and when I was driving, I had 120 horsepower. I mean,
and that was a lot then.
And that was a lot. Well, it was a class legal car. That's all it was. It was only 1,000 cc's. Come on.
Well, what were you driving?
Bug Eye Spray.
Oh, how about that little Austin Healey?
Yeah. The old days of Sick and autocross and Solo One and so forth. And
do you ever race any Datsun Fair ladies?
Yeah. No, I didn't have a Fair Lady, but I did have a Datsun Bluebird and a Sunny.
Oh,
and I actually took a championship driving my Sunny, which was I forget what class, D production. It was a sedan. So we ran IT. Was it ITC? It's been so long ago I don't remember what class I was running. But it was fun.
That's what happens. Well, that's pretty cool. I know we got more of that video in a while, but of course, and that's just a tiny, tiny little fragment because you've been just maybe flogging is the wrong word, but it sounds powerful with that Dodge Magnum. And where have you been with that car on tracks around this great land of ours?
Yeah, you've been traveling.
I've been racing the last 4 weeks in a row now. I raced in Las Vegas for a PSCA race 4 weeks ago for the first race in our swing, then 2 Fontana races in a row, and I was just in Fallon this past weekend for the Lucas Oil Drag Racing
Beautiful
Series.
downtown Fallon.
Yeah, I've never been there before, but it was cool. I mean, completely different environment than I'm used to. I mean, Vegas is, a really, really nice track. So compared to
Fallon's more of a
Fallon,
regional
Fallon
track,
to
yeah.
Vegas, they're just very different. I mean, the races are different there. It's 4,000 feet physical elevation, so the air is really thin there. I mean, I took a couple jogs around the track every once in a while every morning and got out of breath awfully fast.
Well, how much slower was your car at that altitude?
Well, I didn't race the Magnum there. I was racing an
okay.
8-second Super Comp car, but it ran the very first pass out of the gate. It ran an 879, but we had to detune it to run 930s is the Super Comp index.
Oh, okay. So an 890 would be at sea level.
Yeah, that's right.
I thought Supercom was 790.
Nope.
890, huh?
Yep.
Okay, so all right. There we go.
890,
Yeah.
890 Super Comp, Super Gas is 1090.
Well, that's quite the. We were talking
990,
about the
sorry.
Fallon track. 990.
990 for
990,
Super
yeah.
Gas.
And just
990
before the
for
show started, we were talking about that Fallon track. One of the pluses that they have there is it's never, at least for not a few, maybe 100 years, it's not going to be encroached upon by
No.
urbanization. So the track, unless, something else happens,
Yeah.
it will likely, unlike so many tracks within or near city limits, it will remain open.
That's right. I was remarking on that as we were driving up to it for the first time. Like, they're not going to have to worry about waking anybody up at night.
Yeah.
No, but yeah.
There's
But the other
nobody.
thing too is, unless people from California move there, that track will stay open even when houses move around it.
There you
because
go.
people will realize they moved near a racetrack.
Gee, are you talking about the local residents here of Burbank where they move in near the airport and then they say it's too loud?
Yeah, well, like the guy that caused the wall to be built in Kentucky, and and LACR got closed down. I remember at one point LACR had no curfew times, and then as houses were being built in Palmdale, we ended up having a curfew up there.
And eventually, it all goes away.
Yes, it does.
Darn. Hey, we want to say thanks, by the way. Last week, Big Swag, Brett Wagner
Yes.
was in studio, and we had a whale of a good time. Man,
did.
Bob, a lot of comments coming in afterwards,
Good,
too. What a
yeah.
fine show. In case you want to take a look at that episode, just dial on over. Not yet.
Not yet. Watch
After the
this one
show's
now,
done,
yeah.
over to the archives page at speedscenelive.com. We were just talking about altitude, and this involves latitude. I've got a couple of short clips here from a drag racing track in near Anchorage.
Really?
Yeah, and
They got wrinkle wall snow tires there?
yeah, apparently.
Okay.
Now, I believe this is Palmer area, and I could be wrong about that. Palmer, Wasilla, should have done my due diligence. But so let's take a look at a couple of cars going down the track. This is how they do it way up north. Man, how about that scenery?
Wow, that's a great.
Aw,
the
that's
only
cool.
thing I can think about that is how close is that mountain to the finish line? I mean, you don't stop. You don't have a sand pit like we do at Pomona. It's,
No, you just drive up the mountain.
You don't have a ramp.
yeah.
It's like a runaway truck ramp.
There you go.
But for race cars.
It's so funny. Here's another one.
Oh, neat willies. You don't think of these cars being for some reason in Alaska.
I know.
I just, they only come out, 2 months out of a year?
Yeah, and it appears there's no grandstands here, but they got a nice big crowd over on the right-hand side of the track there.
Standing room only.
Yeah.
That's it, yeah. Willies pulls the wheels up. He's gone. Cool.
What do you know? So
We'll have to find out more about that track. I mean, that beautiful scenery around it.
I know. Yeah, and
Something
that's
like Bristol is supposed to be beautiful too. I've never been, but
Yeah.
just saw it on the NHRA race a couple days ago.
maybe it'll be on your schedule next year.
Maybe.
Yeah, you're on the 4 wide.
There you go.
Yeah.
I know that's
That'd be cool.
that's very much what Anchorage looks like. It's surrounded by mountains essentially. So I believe it's near there. Thanks to my brother, by the way, for sending those down. We were going, hey, we know there's action up there, and now we know it for real.
And there's no snow all the time.
Yeah,
There's actually times when there isn't snow.
Well, what's crazy, of course, at a track like that is that because of the high latitudes, they're up near the North Pole or nearer. They aren't above the Arctic Circle, so they don't get days that are 24 hours long.
Oh.
But, a lot of us have been up north. You know that in the summertime, the days get very long.
Yeah.
And so in Anchorage, it's they're getting maybe, 20 hours, 21 hours
Wow.
of daylight.
Wow.
And it means, man, imagine how much racing you could do.
Yeah, you could have 2 races in one 24-hour period because
Really?
you'd have
Yeah.
so much daylight.
Welcome to the 24 Hours of Anchorage.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah. Oh, nice, nice. And even at night, it's, maybe people would miss night racing after a while because you can't really night race. Obviously when it
There's
starts
some-
getting dark in Anchorage, it
Yeah.
starts getting pretty cold too. So.
Yeah.
But
Well, the air comes in, you go faster. Of course, you can't see where you're going faster, but yeah,
there's always that.
that's true.
Hey, look at this. We're just getting started. How about this? Get a quick commercial break out of the way and we'll do some more stuff.
All right.
All right. Take us into a break, Bob. Save me, man.
All right,
Save
ladies
me.
and gentlemen, we will be back in just a moment. And now, a word from our sponsors.
At Aeromotive, we believe that performance means reliability, longevity, and durability. Being the best is no secret. By utilizing aerospace processes, procedures, technology, in-house engineering, true applications knowledge, and 3 generations of track experience, it's easy to see why we're the best. We take great pride in the fact that everything we sell, we design and make in the USA. See our entire line of fuel pumps and related products by logging on to aeromotiveinc.com. Aeromotive. We know it, we race it, we live it.
60 years. That's a long time for a company to do any one thing. Doing it right while sticking to your founding values. Now that takes hard work and dedication. For 60 years, Hedman's all-American workforce has been devoted to manufacturing the very best headers any team of craftsmen can build. That's 60 years of cutting, 60 years of bending, 60 years of welding, more than 2 million in all. And every set made right here at home. At Hedman Headers, we build all American horsepower, then back it up for life. Hedman Headers, made in the USA.
Hey, I'm Hot Rod Holly, and I get gas with Hot Rod Bob every Tuesday night on Speed Scene Live.
Welcome back to Speed Scene Live TV, the #1 online drag racing TV show. Brought to you by Curry Rear Ends, M&H Tires, Hedman Hustler Headers, Aeromotive Fuel Systems, and TheFoat.com.
Hi, welcome back to another edition of Speed Scene Live. We are not even halfway through the excitement for tonight. We've got with us Alex Roggio.
Hey there.
She is #1 in her category and #2 in bracket 1 with the Magnum.
Man, it's got to feel good.
Oh, it's cool. Never been first place before, so
And now she's moving into an altered as well.
who knew, right?
And handling all the boards and all the electronics and getting things right is the always lovely Bruce Barker.
Hey, well, look at this. It's not a wide shot enough to see any knobs. So
There you go.
There, yeah, there.
Now you're
yeah.
the true organ player.
There it is. Yeah, look at all the dials on the thing. You look, that's more than a 747's got in the cockpit.
Luckily, though, these don't crash anything.
No.
If I turn this one over here, these stay in your seats, everybody.
And you won't be lost for 100 days. Yes.
That's right. Somebody calls
We
up
do
the
what we
FAA
want.
says, "Hey, you guys are messing with flight rules."
Yeah.
Yeah. They can hear us now leaving Burbank Airport.
Yes. Oh man. Hey, I want to hit another video here.
Okay.
Let's take a look at some more exotics.
Gosh, when you said exotics, I wasn't thinking cars at first, but
Ah.
this is cool. Oh, look at that.
So I'm not sure if you saw at the end of Richard's video.
Yeah.
His best lap time was 57 point something seconds. Whatever.
Cool.
It's not going to matter at the end. You'll see why.
Oh.
Hint.
So as I said earlier, he went first. I got to drive second, and I got to drive the Lamborghini Superleggera.
So that's how you say it.
I guess so, because
Okay.
that's how the instructor said it. I had never heard the name before, but that's how he pronounced it, so that's how I'm going to
That
pronounce
is
it now.
such a cool looking
Isn't
car.
it cool looking? It has a V10 all-wheel drive, super light, of course. This is one of my best lap times. Now, look, okay, it feels way faster than you can see in this video, and you'll
Yeah.
see in the in-car video I get up there.
Well, how
I
long
get on
was the track?
But I don't know.
Did you? Well, I guess we'll get some numbers here as we go. But what was it? I'm a little bit surprised. Don't most normal road courses go in sort of a general counterclockwise direction, or am I wrong? Maybe I'm just used to NASCAR.
European road courses go clockwise.
Okay.
American road courses go
Wow.
counterclockwise.
Good for you that you know that.
Well, I found that out when I went up to Paramount Ranch. And Paramount Ranch was a track here in the 50s that opened up in 57.
That's right. You had a feature on that.
I had a feature on that. And it was set to run counterclockwise. But they couldn't for some reason, so they ran counterclockwise, and the turns didn't work quite the same.
Oh.
And that's why it became a more dangerous track.
What do you know?
Squeeze it on as you unwind it fast as you can.
So now, who is the guy? The fella? Is that the guy that's in car?
That's right. His name is Chris. He was an awesome instructor. 115.
Oh, there we
Oh
go.
man.
Maybe more. I don't know. I can't see it, but yeah, he was a great instructor. I mean, they give you, where you should be on the track, and again, for only a couple $100, you can drive a supercar for 5 laps around the racetrack. You can buy more if you want, and all you need is a driver's license. It's just so cool. I mean, I as a kid, I spent my brother and I would watch exotic cars go by and only dream of what it would be like to even sit in one, let alone drive one. And I just was like...
So this is just outside Vegas, over at the Speedway
This
area.
is literally right across the street from the drag strip. You can,
Okay.
I think you can see, depending on where you are on the track right now, the drag strip from driving it.
Okay. That's cool, because I know they've got a track up at Pahrump, and they've got this, I guess. I didn't realize that. That must be the track they also use for the road race series.
I'm not sure. As far as I know, this right now is only used for exotics. They run a lot. Like I can hear them running all the time at the drag strip.
Now, there was a lineup of Corvettes and some other cars there, too. Do you get to choose what car you're going to drive?
Yes, I think you do. We were put in different cars based on our needs for the magazine and the show, but just real quick, this is a picture of Stephanie Cravasi, and she's actually a PSCA racer as well. Her and her dad work at Exotics. She drives it's a really awesome alcohol dragster. It goes over 200 miles an hour. She's one badass girl. So I just thought it was cool that she works there and she's a fellow drag racer. And she's actually never driven exotics. She's never done the school. And
she works there.
Anyway, maybe if she sees this, maybe that'll convince her to try it. But
We're going to have to call her and ask her to.
yeah. Okay, so fine.
There
I
you
didn't
go.
win the contest.
Oh, no.
Oh,
And then this is my face of terror.
What do you mean I didn't
Well,
win? Yeah.
this actually was taken before we did this driving, and this was just when Richard put his helmet on. I was like, wait a minute. It's not even on your head. And that was a photo that was snapped right when I was saying that. I was worried about his head.
Man.
So, and the deal was whoever had the worst lap time would have the goofiest looking photo posted on Speed Scene Live.
And it worked.
Wow. Now we know what happened.
You know,
Good thing I didn't go.
Yes, good thing you didn't go. For the record, I had never driven on a road course before, and
Okay.
Richard has had circle track racing. Yeah, like that matters. I lost fair and square.
Well, we'll talk to Richard later, too, and
Yeah.
I want to find out which direction he
Yeah,
chooses to
we
turn.
have to do that. You know what we might do is we might have to have our own Speed Scene challenge here at one of the indoor go-kart tracks around
That'd be
here.
cool.
Yeah.
I've
There's
been
one
wanting
right
to
here
do
in beautiful
go-karts.
downtown Burbank. And
That's true.
We can do that. Racer's Edge. You know, we can go on over there and have a Speed Scene challenge.
Oh, that would be something.
Do it.
Yeah, I do.
Come on.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah. On our way out tonight, we'll...
Yeah. Well, I know that, Alex, you were mentioning a little bit ago about, dreaming of driving some of these cars and, kind of the intermediate step. And, Bob, you just brought this up as places that you can either do the indoor karting or some places are outside. What used to be called Malibu Grand Prix out in...
Well, there was a bunch. It was
San
Northridge.
Gabriel.
There was one in Pasadena, right off the 210 freeway. It's now a nice office building.
Oh, of course.
And
There's one on the 60 freeway that is still alive, but it's called Speed Zone. But they have drag
right.
racing.
It was
and they
Malibu,
have-
right? That was Malibu Grand Prix, and then it was golf and stuff. And
Yeah.
They've got drag racing. They've got slick track. They've got cars similar to what the old Malibu Grand Prix was.
Yeah.
And a few other things, but the drag racing too. If you want to get into a dragster, they've got dragsters there, and
Yeah.
you have to react. It automatically hits the brakes at the finish.
What?
But yes, well, no parachute, and they don't expect people to actually hit the brakes on time. So it automatically hits the brakes at the finish line after you pass the finish line. But you do get your
I
reaction
didn't
time,
know
and you
this
get your
existed.
ET.
That's pretty sweet. See,
Yeah.
I've jumped in the road cars before, but I've
Yeah.
never done the drag racers over there.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a kick. We went over there, a car club that I belong to, went over there for a race day, and what we did is we had a competition between all the club members in each different side that actually gave you lap times or speeds. And the dragsters and the road course gave you lap times or reaction time speed. So we did that, and I think I came in second on the road course, and I was almost last on the drag
impressive.
part.
Almost
So,
last.
almost last, yes.
I said, what kind of motors are they running in those things? Do you
Chevy
know?
V8s on the dragsters.
They're actual Chevy
Cool.
V8s.
Chevy V8s, and I think the road course cars were the equivalent of an SCCA Formula 440 car.
I had
So they
no
had
idea.
twin piston. Motors.
That's far larger
Yeah.
equipment they're running than I thought.
Oh, it's a full size dragster. It's a regular full size Super Comp dragster.
Well,
Man.
So, okay, we got karting, we got this drag
Dragster?
racing where they
Yeah.
drive for you. We got
No. You still have to drive it. They just hit the brakes for you.
All right. Well, I'm not sure. We also can do exotics in Fontana. They just
Yeah.
opened an
All right.
exotics course in
Then
Fontana, so
that's
we
gonna
got
go.
everything here.
Now, they got a lot more at Fontana, too, because I got a buddy that goes there for track days. And he went out there for Chevrolet had an introduction to the new C7 Corvette. And he got invited out to that. He did that, got so jazzed about it, he's got a C4 Corvette. He's been going out now once a month on track days
Well, that worked.
and having fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was bit by the bug.
Yeah, well, he and I we used to race together way back in the olden days. And so he hadn't been doing it in quite some time, and this was his introduction back into it. Now he's gotten really excited about it. The vet's going. He just bought himself a Scion FRS, and he's going to go using that. So yeah, those are neat. I got to drive.
I like 'em.
I got
You've
to
got to
drive
drive 'em?
my cousin's. It's a little lacking in power, just like the press has said.
Oh, it's
it
just-
runs out of steam.
You just throw a
But
supercharger on it.
Well, and
Come
we had
on.
someone at Irwindale a few weeks ago that did just that.
Cool. Wait, really?
Really?
I didn't even know they made one for it
They
yet.
do. It's a
Which
nice
company?
I don't remember the name of the company, but they were out there testing, and they said, now, stock, it has 200 horsepower at the engine, net.
Right.
This one had 240 at the rear wheels.
Okay. It's a pretty
Which,
good increase.
you know, a 2,700-pound car, that's not bad.
Yep. That's
And now here's a car that's a little bit heavier. And
Yeah.
Bob, I got
Yes.
apologies for you because you did the
Oh, yeah.
beautiful segment on Van Nuys Boulevard last
Yes.
week, and somehow this photo escaped. That's your Plymouth
That's
on
me.
Van Nuys Boulevard.
Cruising Van Nuys Boulevard.
Now,
And,
what's
Reed's-
the vintage here?
That is the first one that they did. Reed, who was in here, Reed Stoltz was in here, and that was the first night they resurrected the old Van Nuys cruises. And I was out cruising, and someone from the Ham, the Hokey Ass message board, caught me on camera, and it hit the airwaves, I guess you could say, the internet, and I grabbed it off that.
That Plymouth is viral, baby.
I'll tell you what, I can't get rid of that car. I've thought about it a number of times, and everyone says, you can't. You've had that car for going on 27 years now, or 28 years. You've got to keep that car. Everyone knows that car and you.
Well, see, I was going to say I got you beat, but your paint's better than mine. That Mustang parked outside.
Well, it's close. I
so
mean,
cool.
mine's Earl Scheib, 1972.
Nice.
Oh, Richard always talks about Earl Scheib.
Well, there's an Edsel Ranchero parked
Yeah.
outside. That yellow and black one, that's Earl Scheib.
Scheib.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Yeah.
I mean, back in the day, you keep them waxed, you keep them clean. They don't do too bad.
Not bad. And you buy the expensive Earl Scheib job, which was still like dirt cheap.
Which was still
but back
nothing.
then there wasn't an expensive job. Well, actually there was. That meant they actually masked off the license plate. But
Oh yeah.
I
the windshield.
in one of my other lifetimes, I worked for Earl Scheib for 2 weeks.
Oh.
And I tried to stop one of the guys and get him to take the license plate off the trunk of the car.
Yeah.
And the manager stopped me. He says, no, we just masked them off. I go, oh, no. This is not going to
That's
work.
when you knew.
All right,
Yeah.
quick, what was the Earl Scheib branded paint name?
Well, let's see. Nason was one of them, but I don't remember what he called it. Diamond Diamond Glow or Diamond Gloss.
You got it.
Yeah.
It's Diamond
Ding,
Gloss.
ding,
Yay.
You won the prize.
Okie dokie.
You won a free Speed Scene Live sticker.
Wait a minute, let me get it out here. Wait, hold on.
Hey, I know we got to take a break. I
Yes.
know the Great American Auto Scene's coming up.
Yes,
Let's
we
say
have
we do
gas.
that in that order, and then lots more. Alex Rosio, Richard's going to be on. We got stuff to talk about. How
We
about
do.
that? All right, so here's the lineup. Speed Scene Live, you know that already. We're going to be right back. By the way, a special thanks, hopefully, Tom Moore, you got the sound working. Thanks for being our tech check before every show.
Cool.
We're going to be right back here at Speed Scene Live.
For over half a century, Curry rear-end components have been twisting out the torque and taking the punishment. And the new Curry lineup is stronger than ever. Some of the world's most capable, hardest-working vehicles depend on Curry gears, which is why you can too. Street cars, hot rods and resto rods, drag cars, rock-crawling four-wheel drive vehicles, whatever you're piloting, Curry expertise and rock-solid design means the parts will do their job, so you can do yours. Check out Curry's custom rear ends, featuring a full line of upgrades, components, and installation options. The Curry Crate rear ends lineup offers ultra-strong construction on third members and carrier assemblies. And other underside parts, like Correct Link steering systems, keep your four-wheeler pointed where you want it. Add in a wide variety of solid, purpose-built suspension and brake components, and you've got one tough, ready-to-go machine. Grab a hold of a Curry rear end. Talk to the experts at 714-367-2679 or view the complete line online at curryenterprises.com. Everyone in the armed forces that has served to defend our great country and our freedom, all of us here in the United States of America would like to offer our sincere appreciation for all that you do and all that you've done. To every family that has made a sacrifice for us, we thank you.
M&H Tires, makers of racing tires that give you the best bite for the buck. You paid a lot for that horsepower. Make sure you use it all. M&H Tires has the best compounds available for maximum traction. Go to mandhtires.com. That's mandhtires.com. Buy direct and save at the website and mention the Speed Scene for a 5% discount. That's right, mandhtires.com. Call them at 661-324-4773. M&H Tires has tech guys ready to answer your questions or to recommend the best tire for you. Slicks or DOT, M&H Tires has it all. M&H were the first to create racing tires for muscle cars and also the first to create racing tires for sport compact cars. Legendary M&H Tires. Shop online. Mention the Speed Scene and save 5%. Get the best racing tires, great personal service, and save 5%. Go to mandhtires.com or call them at 661-324-4773. MNHTires.com.
This is Ray Iddings, the producer of Wanted Dog, exclusively on MAV TV. You're watching Speed Scene Live.
Welcome back to Speed Scene Live TV, the #1 online drag racing TV show. Brought to you by Curry Rear Ends, M&H Tires, Hedman Hustler Headers, Aeromotive Fuel Systems, and theFote.com.
And welcome back to Speed Scene Live. I am Alex the Car Girl Rogio, as they call me. I've got Bob Beck to my left. And I've got across from me, working on his organ over there,
Excuse me?
Bruce Parker.
Did she just say that?
She said that live on TV. Oh, no.
I wish we could have organ like sound effects, like.
I know, a little calliope, yeah, a little.
Yeah.
Well, Bob, you've been to the Nethercutt up in Sylmar,
Yes,
the Nethercutt
yes.
Car Museum. Across the street, there's this building that says Merle Norman on it.
Yeah, cosmetics.
the cosmetics, yeah. Well, they have another bunch of cars in there, really old cars, Duesenbergs, and really some high-end
Cool.
stuff.
Yeah.
But then on some of the other levels of this place, and you have to make reservations to go in. Notice to Southern Californians, if you dig anything cool, you will dig this place. Just make sure you make reservations first. You go on a tour, and a lot of the stuff in some of the other areas of the building are musical instruments, but not like violins and trumpets and stuff. They're the kind that play themselves.
Yes.
And all sorts of weird stuff from like 200 and 100 years ago and stuff. And including one of the mighty Wurlitzers, one of the big theater organs.
But the other thing about the Nethercutt Museum and Merle Norman, the cosmetic giant Nethercutt, same thing.
Yeah.
That is not a look-only museum. You
Really?
actually can touch. All the cars are driven. They move them in and out every week. They drive the doozies, and everything. They got multi-million-dollar cars there. But the antiques, the antique rugs, you walk on them.
Yeah.
Wow,
You
I
can
didn't
walk
even know
right
that
up to the
existed.
desks. And they have a lot of things. One of the things that excited me about that, they've got a big display case with hood ornaments. And they have Rolls-Royce hood ornaments, which, if you don't know how those are made, they're not die-cast. They call it lost wax molding, where they actually carve each flying lady. It's put into a mold. The molten metal is poured in, and the wax evaporates,
dissipates, sure.
and the metal fills. And they have a couple of the wax ones that were never used, but they're all hand carved.
cool.
So these are craftsman type things, and they've got them in the case there.
Yeah. What's the Duesenberg, the 20 grand, the baby grand, whatever that one's called is in there too. But, anyway, it's a stunning place. And
This
look,
is.
it's free.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. So it's called the Nethercutt. If you go there, the information about both venues is on. You can just go to the Nethercutt anytime you want. You also make reservations for the other one, but it's free. And there you go, free plug, man,
It
for the
is.
museum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Great place. Yeah.
That's what we do, though, right?
Yeah, I don't know where that was going, but
I don't know, but it sure went.
yeah, and I'm glad we went there. Hey,
Yes.
is it time for the Great American Auto Scene?
It sure is. I'm Bob Beck. Welcome to Speed Scene Live, and you've got gas once again on a Tuesday night. We go back to drag racing history, and one of the things I do is the historic part, the hot rodding and the history. Everyone thinks of Tommy Ivo and the multi-engine dragsters. No. Jim Little did it with an Allison aircraft engine, multi-engine. Now, these are the engines that were in the P-51 fighters during World War II. After World War II, there was no need for fighters. These were all surplus engines. They could be bought for next to nothing because no one realized the value they would become later on. And this is a just four wheels in the back. It's a dually. He's got 8 wheels on this thing. Now, some of the Allison engines turned right hand, some turned left hand.
Does that explain why these engines are sort of canted off each other?
That's part of it, but there's also 4 engines there.
Wow, good Lord!
Now, you figure those
That's
got
nuts.
airplanes going, 300 some odd miles an hour?
Yeah.
400 miles an hour? And he put 4 of them in that car. But that was not his first car. His first car is this. And this was the flopper-bodied car I talked about. He made a fiberglass one-piece 34 Ford body. And he was the first one to do it. And that laid the basis for the following funny cars that became flopper single-piece bodied cars.
Is that another one of those ferocious Allison engines?
That is the Allison engine. This car was called Big Al. And before NHRA had banned non-automotive engines, it was open season. If it was a piston power or turbine power or rocket power, you could drive it. Remember, we had Paula Murphy on a couple of years ago. She drove a rocket dragster.
Yes.
This was an Allison-powered car. It was an amazing car. We've got a shot of it at Lions coming up shortly, and it's just smoking. Now, here's another car he built. This one's a truck. It's a white automotive big rig at the time, and Tex Collins built this or used this and used to drag race. And he also had an Allison-powered Mustang funny car.
Wow, I love the pipes coming out of this thing.
Yeah, that's
Now, this
funny.
this truck sat at the wrecking yard at PDQ in Sun Valley. My friend Fast Eddie Salvatore had it in the back of the wrecking yard for years, and I looked at that thing, and I remembered who Tex Collins was, but I didn't remember that they actually drove this car.
Now, which junkyard is that for our locals? Is that
It's
near
not there
You Pick
anymore.
Parts or
It's
Memory
in that
Lane?
area, but You Pick
Okay.
Parts basically put out all the independents at the time, but that was there. Here's the Topolino once again, and you can see a better shot of the engine sitting on an angle side by side. Remember, these are, I believe, 12-cylinder motors.
God, that is unbelievable. And obviously the front wheels are driving as well.
Yes, they are. And Jim's also credited with coming up with the first purpose-built race clutch. Because when he built the first Allison-powered car, Big Al, he disintegrated the clutch on the first drive. And can you imagine that? I can't understand. I mean, the torque from this thing. Now, he also did the groundwork for what's called the high gear only drive line. So he came from Texas. He was not a formally trained engineer, but he did some amazing things. And you can see Big Al, and this isn't too old of a photo because look at the dish in the back.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I'm not sure where this particularly was, but Jim, unfortunately, he passed away a few years ago, was living in Hawaii and had been there for about 20 years and was not really totally involved in drag racing as much as he was when he was younger in the 60s and early 70s. But this car is a legacy. This is sitting, now there's the steel-bodied version of it.
Okay, yeah, with the top. No, even that top is chopped, but it's nowhere
chopped,
near
but
that.
Nowhere near what the fiberglass body was. Now, the fiberglass body was found behind some shop. It was about to be destroyed when Don Garlitz found it, put it in his museum, and it is there. Now, I don't know if the whole car ended up back there, but at least the body for Big Al is there. Now, here's a little bit the chassis of Big Al. As you can see, the side rails look to be Ford side rails.
Unbelievable.
It's got a Ford-style cross spring, a tube axle in the front, and the Allison engine. I mean, that thing is huge.
Yeah, with the exhaust manifolds, porting things forward, because where else are they going to go?
Yeah, I mean, the driver's sitting back there. Notice it's still a solid axle vehicle in the back, but there is absolutely no flex in that frame intentionally.
Oh, man, what a handful this thing must have been. Imagine the torque when you just rev it up.
Oh, yeah, and here it is. You can see a better shot of it. Single pot master cylinder. Give you an idea how old that is. The steering wheel almost to the back of the engine. Now, the engine is just massive, and it is a V12 engine.
1,710 cubic inches.
Yeah.
Wow.
Man! When we first saw this, the first black and white photo as the body is being lowered onto that frame, too, I was thinking, how is anybody going to see out of this? Well, now we know, of course. He's actually driving it from out of the top of the roof there, but look at how many pipes are down on the running
Look at
board.
that thing coming out the side there. I mean, that has got, and the noise this, and I remember seeing the car once. I don't remember which track I was at, but I loved it. I mean, it was just an amazing car to see and hear. And there's the chassis for the four-wheel drive, the
that
Topolino.
long thing, yeah.
But you can see V12, and some of the engines ran right, some of them ran left. And he used them there, but he did some great stuff. Now, they estimated back in those days when, a good piston engine was putting out 300 horse, 400 horse, these were putting out 2,500 horsepower.
Wow.
So now think about it. 4 of those at 2,500 apiece, there's 10,000 horsepower.
It's beyond my math comprehension.
And to give you an idea of what it looked like to a full-size 34, there's an unchopped 2-door sedan next to the fiberglass one-piece body of Big Al.
He
it almost
did
looks like a compact.
Yeah, well, it almost does, although, boy, he did a great job rendering the lines properly and stuff.
Well, from what I understand, he took the existing steel body and made the molds.
Oh, okay.
So now this is the early days. This is when fiberglass was just coming of age, and you had people like Kellison and Curtis Kraft and so forth making fiberglass sports cars. Now here's an overhead shot of that Topolino. And look at how small the body seems to be. Now to tell you, to put this in perspective as far as age, notice the roll bar is square.
Wait, I'm looking.
Look behind the driver's head, the helmet.
Oh, yeah.
It's a square roll bar.
How about that? I didn't even identify it as that.
I'm almost thinking maybe he used plumbing pipe. I'm not sure.
Yeah, just cut it at 45-degree angles.
Cut it and just weld it together, and there it is. But look at how massive those engines are. And can you imagine this car? I've never seen photos of this particular car running, but can you imagine an exhibition race between TV Tommy's Showboat and this.
Can you imagine?
Talk about the tire smoke.
Yeah.
A QMD would have a fit.
You know, I cannot imagine that Hot Wheels didn't build one of these, but then, you know, it's so much like a George Barris or a Dean Jeffries or one of those cars that, I don't know, maybe it just looks like one.
And I'm not sure what year it was that NHRA started banning the non-automotive engines.
Yeah.
But this car ran into the 70s.
That is hard to
And there it is launching at Lyons. Or Irwindale, I forget which, but that is a great shot. Look at the thing set down. Now there's the Topolino without the body on it, but and, you know, the body pieces are just superficial. They're just there for looks, but you can get a better shot of that square roll bar.
Man, that is just astounding.
That's Bakersfield.
That is Bakersfield in the Grove, and there's the truck and Big Al. So that can't be too long ago because the trees are pretty large at that point, and they've got the memorial plaques next to the tree. So this could have been one of the Hot Rod reunions not too long ago.
I am stunned.
Watch me.
Yeah, well, yeah, could have been. Could have been. Most likely, though, the reunion, because that's when the guys from that era would come out. This was his hot rod, and this appeared, I believe, in Rod and Custom magazine. It didn't have an Allison in it, but he drag raced this, and you can see he towed it to the tracks. Had a chop top, nice little 32 Ford. It's sectioned. As you can look at the back, how high the fenders are on the body.
Yeah.
Excellent body work and build for the time. And he got out of the service, was living in Texas, came out to California, got hooked on drag racing and old cars, and, you know, it's history. And it's one of the most colorful part of drag racing history when innovation was the way, and there were few chassis builders, and most of the guys built them themselves, like Mickey Thompson. You draw some chalk marks on the ground, you set down the frame rails, and you built it.
It's amazing. And to think those aircraft engines, like you say, were dirt cheap, and I think tank engines were the same, the big Packards and Rolls-Royces and stuff. And, man, hard to believe.
But that is just a little bit of history of the drag racing, and we'll try and keep you enlightened about where our roots are as we go along with guests.
Well, that is something. Hey, thanks, Bob Beck.
No problem.
The great American auto scene.
You learn something new every day on Speed Scene Live, right?
That's it.
I sure do.
We're an educational show.
Yeah, I've never seen anything like that. It's outrageous.
Oh, is this as outrageous as your Edsel?
It's more outrageous than that. Well,
it's all right. It's what's an Echerero?
Tough to say.
Yeah, or Renzel, or what do we call your? If you ever drive through North Hollywood, and you'll find the studio by looking for the black and yellow Edsel Ranchero.
That's right. And, you know, I've toyed with the idea, and it just doesn't really make sense to deal with it, I think. But, you know, of course, for a long time, there was a line of Ford Ranger pickups.
Yes.
Well, the Edsel had a Ranger model.
It did, the wagon.
That's right. And so, you know, I was thinking, wouldn't it be cool to make, since this is a pickup, maybe put Ranger badges on it? But is the connection lost? Does that just not make enough sense to enough people?
No, the problem is they're too young.
Yeah.
To understand it.
Yeah. And they just go, well, why'd you put Ranger badges? That looks dumb.
Yeah, you'd have to go to a Ford show or an Edsel show. Well, there's no Edsel shows. You'd have to go to a Ford show and go to park in the Edsel section. There, the people would appreciate it because they understand.
Yeah, because they had names like a Villager and Bermuda and Pacer and Corsair. Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey, well, I know we got more.
We got more Alex
Rogio video.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. I'm so selfish taking up all the videos.
Oh no, this is your night, lady.
Yeah, that's right. We had months to catch up on it.
Scott's away, and you're going to show us all the stuff.
We're running them up.
Okay, so we've got one here. What are we going to look at next?
This is video of me racing the Super Comp car owned by Dick Krieger, who was an amazing racer for a long, long time. Here he is. He's in the black here. He's serving as my awesome crew chief.
And you're in Vegas there again.
This is the testing that we did in Vegas. We did one or two races in Vegas before we went to Fallon.
So you got your Super Comp license.
I did. I have both my short and long wheelbase Super Comp licenses.
Cool.
So I think this is actually a licensing pass. And you'll see what it looks like from inside the car. You can see the...
Now, of course, making runs like this and getting licensed, what does that mean for the future of you?
You know, people always ask me that, and I don't quite know what to say. I'm working my way up you know, and I believe in taking the proper steps to get someplace. This opportunity came along, and I've been wanting to race in Super Comp for a while. I realized very quickly this past weekend in Fallon, that it is no easy task to do well. But I mean, you know, I don't expect to be perfect at something the first weekend,
but the second, yes.
Second weekend, yes. So when I wasn't, I got a little discouraged. But you know what? I've got a great team. Dick is a really patient guy. He's awesome. My crew chief Richard is there. He's always great. You know, it really helps when you have a great team surrounding you. And man, those 8 seconds go by
That
really
wasn't a
fast.
license pass.
Okay, no, it wasn't. You're right. Because I would have been out of it. It was probably my first full pass.
Could have been a first full. That was a good one.
So this is this past weekend in Fallon. We actually just got back last night. You can see now. Dick he's quite the guy to live up to, because back in his racing days, you know, he tells stories of winning 35 race weekends in a row. I mean, can you imagine doing that? It's just.
That's like
That's
bowling.
not even heard of anymore.
That's like bowling 300 2 weeks
Right.
in a row. I mean, come on.
Right. And this actually was the very first Super Comp round that I have ever won. It was a win
Yeah,
against
there's the lights
none
going on.
other than Sean Langdon's dad, Chad Langdon. It was actually his wife's birthday. Richard was super thrilled when we got back.
Yeah, it
to
looks
the
that
pit.
way.
And here's I think this is a photo from the round before that. Of course, my, you know, wonderfully glamorous looking head sock.
Yes, there you go.
Fabulous. I used to be in the fire service, and the Nomex head socks look exactly like
Oh
that.
man, they're just so nice. But you gotta wear them.
Right,
Safety
so
first.
you got a big black Chevy.
That's right.
Ford,
509.
Ford Model T sitting on a tube chassis. It's an altered. The chassis is similar to almost a funny car.
Yep. Pretty similar wheelbase. It's such a fun car to drive. It just goes straight. You know, it's amazing how much fun it is just driving it around the pits. I mean, you don't realize the difference between a purpose-built race car and something like the Magnum.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, I love both cars, and they're both very different. But I gotta say thank you so much to Dick for everything that he's done, and I really am appreciative of being able to drive his awesome car.
I can just see one of those electronic fuel-injected Hemis sitting in an altered now, with air conditioning and a stereo and
And nav, sunroof.
sunroof. Yeah.
Overtime.
Put a coupe on it. Yeah. Actually, what you'll have to do, instead of using a Model T body, you get a Dodge body for it.
But an old Dodge body.
An old body, yeah, a 30s vintage Dodge.
Yeah, Dodge Brothers.
Yeah, there we
That's
go.
right.
Yeah.
Yes.
That would be sweet.
Yeah. Well, you know, there was a guy who ran one that called it a Dodge, and it was Hollis Collegier. And he ran a super gas car, and he called it a Dodge.
That's like I got a 32 wagon and I call it a Woody. Surf City, here we come.
Yeah.
Somebody had to say it.
That's it.
Well, nobody had to say it.
No one had to say it, but we do, yeah.
But you did anyway.
You did, yeah.
You don't wait for permission.
We don't need no stinking.
Yeah.
Hey, were we going to talk to Richard about doing a lap or two,
We
or was
could.
that
I
on the
don't know
docket?
if he's up
I don't
for
know.
that.
I don't know if we've. You know, I want to take a look at a little more video though, as he
Yeah,
was
let's go to road course
as he
again.
would, yeah, as
Oh,
piloting
yeah.
the thing.
This is. I'm just enjoying watching them try and find a helmet.
Yeah.
I mean, that looks like a
He's
bicycle
got-
helmet.
You know, I don't know what it is, but it was a couple tries before we found the right one. But
Well, and that head sock, I mean, that's reminiscent of Costco pizza guys.
well, it's funny because he couldn't find the right helmet. They had to put pillows in the car for me because the cars are so low. You're sitting
Yep.
like not even a foot off the ground, and as you can see, Richard getting it.
And he had a sandwich in. I mean, yeah.
I couldn't fit in the other way, and he couldn't fit in this way.
Put some armor all on the seats and
Yeah.
just get in right away, yeah.
Well, of course, you know, the height of that car, the height of the seat off the ground is
Yeah.
certainly another reason why they feel so fast when we're
Yes.
just doing legal speeds.
Helps.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, the feeling
Yeah,
of
they
speed.
sounded so
Well, that is a beautiful course too. From looking at the turns and the way they've got it laid
Really
out.
well done. You know, they have cones and all that stuff telling you where you should be and when you should be braking. And I mean, it's not like you waste your laps trying to get to know the course, because you have a lot of information before you actually get in the car. So it's just.
Or what about
just a
passing?
great
If you come
experience.
up on someone who's driving slower, do they allow you to pass?
What they do is they have the mirrors on the cars set up for the instructor, so that they can see what's going on, and you just focus on driving.
Oh,
They worry
interesting.
about what's going on around you. So
Okay.
it's set up and thought out really, really well.
We can hear some
I
of the
love the
in-car
sound of
traffic
the
here.
motor.
I know.
Balance the car to apex, squeezing the
And notice there's a little Ferrari logo on the speedometer there if you zoom in on your video player.
brake straight to that.
I can hear it brake. You know, he's not panicking. The instructor's not panicking. Oh, yeah, someone was panicking there.
Yeah.
And
Well, you spend a lot of time apologizing when they say do something and then you're a little slow, or like you shift yourself. It's paddle shifters.
oh, okay.
Which I've never
So the
used before
semi-automatics.
either.
Okay.
That's right. So you only go back and forth between two or three gears, but there's a fear of, am I going to blow this $1 million car up?
Right.
Yeah.
Not $1 million, but close.
Okay. Now, what kind of insurance did you have to provide?
I'm not sure. I'm sure there is some sort of policy, but I think that's built into the price that you pay.
Okay.
So again, it's only a couple $100, depending on
Well,
how many laps
that's
you want.
well
but
worth it.
it starts at about 200.
I got to go up to Vegas
Or Fontana.
later on this year. You know what? I'm going to go up for SEMA
Okay, so
and maybe do it there. But yeah, Fontana would be good. Fontana would be good to do it too. Yeah.
Will ya? This is great, man. You can see
left.
Richard in the tiny inset shot up in the upper right, just muscling this baby around.
But he's
just
smiling though.
Yeah.
the funniest thing about these cars, well, one of the most awesome things is that the brakes are carbon on carbon. So
Oh, okay.
they stop just as fast
They're
as they
amazing, huh?
accelerate. I mean, they tell you to ease on the brake. If you do any more than ease, you're stopping before you even get to the point that you need to stop to start slowing down.
That's
I mean,
cool.
it's really, really.
5'7".
You can't describe the feeling of driving one of these cars. There's
Well-
so much,
What was Richard? You did 5.7. He's hiding out in the background here in the studio. What
57,
was some of the top times for that
I
day? Do you
think it was
remember?
under a minute. You were good, and
Pros could get to the low.
pros could get to about
50 flat. So that's only 7 seconds ahead, considering that was the first time you were in a car. That's not bad. That you could pick up with some practice and time. 7 seconds is not that big a gap. You did pretty good.
Yeah, I think both of us were like, if we only had 5 more laps, or
Yeah,
10
sure.
more
There
laps.
you go.
I mean, you didn't want to get out, of course.
No.
Yeah.
It goes by too fast, but
Yeah.
And what's really cool is that, as I said before, they give you a ride around the track as a passenger first, so you
Okay.
get to see what it's like going through the turns and all that stuff. So
That's
I mean,
great.
it's just you got to do it. You gotta
Got
do
it. Yeah. Well,
Got
Fontana might be closer. I may hit the biggest one when I go for SEMA this year in November.
Man, sounds like the thing to do.
I agree. Alex, what are you doing this weekend?
You know what? This is my first weekend off in a long time.
Really?
We're actually going to take a little bit of a racing break for summer. I'm thinking about doing maybe a divisional.
Okay.
I might do, I don't know, a divisional or a national race here in the next coming months. In
Okay.
the Super Comp car. Not quite sure of our schedule yet, but we're going to be doing some PSCA racing again in September, and just
That's gonna be cool.
I get to say I'm in first place for the whole summer now. So
There you go.
it's
That's
just the
pretty
first
That's
couple
cool.
months.
That is good.
So
Yeah.
gotta just hang on to that.
Get the guys a champion like that too now.
Yes, exactly.
All right, Bruce, what do you got planned? You going to be working on that Mustang downstairs?
No, that Mustang's going to have to wait. I would so love to just redo the body. It's all swoopy and nice. It's just the
Yeah.
paint's horrific. But no, I'm trying to get this 58 Lincoln on the road. And
There you go.
yeah, it's just long and slow.
All right. Well,
Sort of like the car itself.
That's it. Well, yeah. Well, for those of you guys that are in the Anaheim, California area and you're interested in Ford trucks, I'm going to be at the F100 Western Nationals in Anaheim at Federal Park on Saturday. Gates open at 6 a.m. Dark 30, and award presentations begin at about 2:30, 3 o'clock. So come on out if you get the chance. Stop by the AAA booth and say hello. And then Sunday, I'm racing an enduro.
Cool. Really?
Dang!
Yeah.
You get to do racing?
I get to do racing. I'm going to be racing an enduro. I'll be driving a NASCAR Stalker in 1/25th scale. And I'll be in Buena Park at Buena Park Raceway, and we'll be running a 6 hour, or I think it's a 6 hour, 3 or 6 hour enduro, and I'm on a 3-person team. So we're going to be out there running the 1/25th scale hard body enduro cars.
If there's any brownouts in Buena Park, now we know who to blame.
That's it. We'll be using all the power. Hey, we're ecologically safe. We're running electric cars.
Oh, there you have it.
See?
It's just that the coal is being burned somewhere else to power
Someplace,
them.
yeah. Well, for a while, then they're going to have to go to natural gas anyway, which is my type of thing, yeah. They'll have gas.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They'll have to respell it, though.
Oh, that's true.
Natural Great American Autos.
That's right.
That's right. Hey, look at this. It's been great to see you guys again. And what we got to do now is jump on over to that encore presentation. As always, we so love it when you log into Speed Scene Live and watch the show every week. Hey, Alex, take a weekend off. Why don't you?
All right. You too.
And Bob, we'll see you at the track, man.
I'll see you there. Remember, everybody, keep it rubber side down and shiny side up.
There you have it. Encore show is next here at Speed Scene Live.
Speed Scene Live TV, the #1 online motorsports TV show. Brought to you by Curry Racing Rear Ends, M&H Tires, Hedman Hustler Headers, Aeromotive Fuel Systems, and TheFoat.com.